Hi, it's Matt here again. We're going to continue with the question paper. We're on question 11. So if you've not seen the previous video, there is a previous video on the first 10 questions of this paper. So go check that out if you haven't. If you're here for this, we're going to keep going. Okay, so question 11. 500 people were asked what type of film they like. 280 of 500 people are adults. 100 of the adults said they liked action films best. 80 of the children said they like thriller films best. 150 like action films of all the people, I think. Yeah, and 200 people of everyone said they like comedy films. Okay, so what we're going to do in here is just filling in this table. Okay, so we'll start off one by one. So we'll go 500 people were asked, we've already got that here. 280 of the 500 people were adults. So if we go to adults here, over here in total, we can say that 280 of the total people were adults. And hence we know that 500 minus 280 will give us the amount of children. So 500 minus 280 is 220. And then let's go to the next section. So we've got 100 of the adults said they liked action films best. So we go adults, action films, so we follow along, we've got 100 there, so this is basically just filling in this table. 80 of the children said they liked thriller films best, so we go children, thriller, 80. 150 of the people said they liked action films best, so we're going back to the totals now because nothing here says children or adults, it says people. So we go 150 said they like action films, so total is people. Action here is 150. And 200 of all the people said they liked comedy films. So we'll put 200 in here, total and comedy. Okay, so now it says complete the two-way table. I think we've got all the information there, haven't we? So comedy, yeah. Okay, so since we know 150 people like action films, we know that this must add up to 150. So 100 plus 50 is 150. We also know that we can look across here now. Basically, we're looking for the part of the table, or this way or this way, that only has one variable to fill in. So obviously, we can't do this one yet because we don't know enough information. We can't do this one yet because we don't know enough information, but we can do this one. 1, 2, 3. So all we do is we know that this plus this adds up to this, which is the total. So we'll do 220 minus 50 minus 80, which is 220 minus 130, which equals 90. And then from here we can see we've now got this value missing. So 200 minus 90 equals 110. And then finally, we have the last value we can fill in here and here actually. So we've got 280 minus 100 is 180, minus 110 is 70. And then finally, some 200 plus something plus 150 equals 500. So 500 minus 150 minus 200 is equal to also 150. As you can see, you could have also worked it out this way as well. So as long as everything adds up this way and this way, we're all good. Okay. Part B, of these 500 people, one of these 500 people is chosen at random. Find the probability this person is an adult who say they like the action films the best. So all we have to do is, it's asking us for the fact that there's 500 people. So this is the total it's out of. And it's also asking how many is an adult who says they like action films. So we'll go to our table again, we'll say action films, adult is 100. One of the 500 is chosen, so the probability of that is 100 over 500, which basically means for every 100, there'll be an action person, there'll be 100 action people in every 500. Okay, next part. Ollie was asked to work out 5 minus 3 times 4. Ollie wrote 5 minus 3 equals 2, then worked out 2 times 4. Explain why Ollie's method is wrong. So Ollie here has done the calculation in order, but as we know, there's different ways that you may have learned this, but we have Bidmas, which is the order in which we apply the maths. So we do brackets first, then indices or power or exponents, and then divide, multiply, add, subtract. So this obviously says that the multiply and the add, multiply comes before add. So we have to multiply first. So what's wrong with this method is Ollie should have multiplied first. There we go. And that's fine for that question. Next one, question 13. A number machine. So let's have a look. So this is number machine plus 5 divided by 2. Find the output when the input is 11. So all we have to do is, this is unlike Bidmas earlier. This is just one step after the other, which is what Ollie actually did in the previous question. So we'll put 11 in here, and then we've got to add 5 to it first. So we add 5 first, which equals 16. And then we divide by 2 after that. So we divide by 2, which then equals 8. So the answer to that is 8. It's tricky that they put these questions together, because some people might go into this and think, oh, I've got to divide first, because divide comes before add. But in this case, number machines are different. It's just one step, just like how we did here. Okay, a different number machine. When the input is 10, the output is 28. Okay, so if we write this out, we'll get a better idea of it. There we go. So that's the full number machine. So we need to find out what this number is here. We don't know how to get to this number yet this way, but we can get to it this way. If it's multiply this way, we can divide to go backwards. So to find out this number. So do 28 divided by 4. I think that's right. Which equals 7. 7 goes here, because that's the output number. Let's get rid of that. And then we know now that something has to happen from 10 to get to 7. Well, how do you get from 10 to 7? Well, there's a couple ways you can do it. The easiest way is it's just minus 3. And you can also do 10 times 0.7 is also 7. Great. Question 14. Here is a cuboid length 10 centimeters with 4 centimeters width. The cuboid has a volume of 200 centimeters cubed. So we know 2 out of 3 of the variables, and we know the total. So best way to usually do this is to write an equation for this sum. So we know that the volume is the length times the width times the height. So we can write 10, which is the length, times 4, which is the width, times, we don't know the height yet, so if we just put h for now, and then put equal to 200, now we've got an equation. Now if we do something to one side of the equation, we have to do exactly the same thing to the other. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get h on its own so we know what the height is. So to do that, we can either work out this first here, or we can start dividing both sides by each of these. I think the easiest way is to rewrite this as 40, 10 times 4, h equals 200. And the next best thing to do is if you divide both sides by 40, you get h equals 200 divided by 40, and 200 divided by 40 is the same as 20 divided by 4, so that's 5. So the height is 5 centimeters. Nice and easy, that one. Okay, different cuboid. Work out the total surface area. So be careful reading the questions because that one was volume. This one's surface area. So the surface area is a bit different. With the surface area, we're going to do the, it's 2 times the length times the height plus 2 times the length times the width plus 2 times the height times the width. And all you're doing here is you're figuring out, so it's 3 centimeters high and it's 5 centimeters wide. So you're figuring out this face here. Now this face is 5 times 3. But because you've got this one here, you've also got one on the other side. Hence why we put, was that width times height? Yeah, hence why we put a 2 here as well. So we can actually write this out as one big long sum. So if we do 2, the length is 6 and the height is 3. So 2 times 6 times 3. And we'll just put that in brackets like that. Plus, let's do it again, 2, the length is 6 times 6. The width is 5. Brackets again. And the last one, 2 times the height is 3. And the width is 5. There we go. And we can figure these out one by one. So we do 2 times 6, which is 12. 12 times 3 is 36. Plus 2 times 6 is 12. 12 times 5 is 60. Plus 2 times 3 is 6. Plus times 5 is 30. And if we add all of them up, we get 126. So in this case, they've already put the centimeters squared here. Worth checking that they have that, but sometimes they'll ask you for it. In this case, they don't, so it's just 126 centimeters squared. Okay, next question. Factorize 6a plus 15. Okay, so now we're looking at something that can be taken out of both of these, because it's an addition, there's 2 terms. So what goes into 6 that also goes into 15? In this case, we've only got one a, so we can't take a out. What goes into 6 and 15? Well, 6 is divisible by 3, and 15 is divisible by 3. So we can take out a 3. So if we do this step by step, we take out 3. Put a bracket there. Now, 6a divided by 3 is 2a. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So there we go. It's 3 times 2a plus 5 in brackets. So put that there. Just like that. Next one, solve 4 bracket 3y plus 1 equals 28. Okay, so there's a couple ways you can do this. You can expand the bracket first, which is sometimes an easy way. In this case, I can see that 28 is actually divisible by 4 directly, so I think I'll do that way first. So if you divide both sides by 4, because we do the same thing to each side, on this side you're just left with 3y plus 1, and 28 divided by 4 is actually 7. And now we can just minus 1 from this side, so 7 minus 1 is 6. And then we can divide by 3, and we get y equals 6 divided by 3, which is 2. Okay. Question 16. 1 cup of tea and 1 cup of coffee cost £4.50. 3 cups of tea and 1 cup of coffee cost £8.50. Work out the total cost of 4 cups of tea and 3 cups of coffee. Okay, so I'd go with here, let's say that cups of tea is T and cups of coffee is C. So we've got T plus C equals £4.50, and we've got 3T plus C equals £8.50. Now, in this case, we can actually subtract both equations from each other to eliminate this coffee here. If we get rid of this variable, we're left with what's left. So in this case, we'll actually put this underneath so it's easier to see. So just look at this section here. So we're going to do, if we put one underneath each other, we can subtract it easier. So £8.50, is it in pounds? Yeah, minus £4.50 equals 4. C minus C is 0, so that means we got rid of that C, which is great. And 3t minus t equals 2t. So 2t equals 4, divide both sides by 2, t equals 2. So t equals £2. Okay. Since we know that t is £2, we can then go back to the original equation, which is this top one here, and we can substitute that in and put t, which is £2, plus c equals £4.50. And from there we can see we just minus 2 from both sides. So anything we do this side, we do to the other side of the equal sign. Minus 2, c equals £2.50. There we go. So now we have the cost of the tea as £2, cost of the coffee is £2.50. And now it's asking us for the total cost of 4 cups of tea and 3 cups of coffee. So let's use these symbols we've been using. So we want 4t plus 3c equals, let's substitute in the values we know. So t is 2, 4 times 2 plus 3, coffee is £2.50, equals, so we get 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 times 2.5, or £2.50, is £7.50. We add them together and we get £15.50. So let's put that down there. There we go. Okay, question 17. Geeta wants to make 24 litres of green paint. She's going to mix blue paint, yellow paint and white paint in the ratio of 4:3:1. She has 12 litres of blue paint, 7 litres of yellow paint, 5 litres of white paint. Does Geeta have enough blue paint, yellow paint and white paint to make 24 litres of green paint? You must show how you get your answer. Okay, so in this case, the total ratio is this. So we need to find out what the value for one of these is. So we do 4 plus 3 plus 1, which equals 8. And we know there's a total of 24 litres. So 24 divided by 8 equals 3. So we know that each one of these numbers is 3. So 1 is 3 there. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. So in this case, in her ratios, with 24 litres of green paint, she actually needs 4 times 3, 12 litres of, what's the first one? Blue paint. Then she needs 3 times 3. The middle one, 3, is yellow paint. And then finally, she'll need 1 times 3, 3 in white paint. So there we have, these here are the total ratios that she will need. So does she have enough blue, yellow and white to make 24 litres of green paint? And says no, she doesn't. No.